Do not be fooled by distractions. Many times, people will try and distract you in an effort to make you more vulnerable and give their colleagues a chance to rob you. Remain aware of your surroundings in these situations. Do not get too carried away watching a street performer. Remember to always keep an eye and hand on your bags when you are watching street performers. Try and avoid carrying valuables with you if you can. It's better to leave these things locked up in a safe hotel room or at your apartment rather than carrying them on you. Most of the time, carrying a copy of important documents such as your passport is sufficient enough when you are walking around a city. Make sure you also keep a copy of your credit and debit cards so you know the numbers to call if they are stolen. Lastly, remain conscious of the types of bags you bring with you. While it can be a pain to undo buckles and zippers, you are much safer and less vulnerable when using those.
So now we're going to talk about how you should hold your bags when you walk with them, and also what kind of bags are more practical to use when you're in Europe. So if you're going to use a backpack, which I know sometimes it's hard not to considering you might have school books or other big items to carry around, try and use a backpack that's pretty secure. Take for example on this backpack, you can use the zippers, and if you zip them around to one side, it has a hook in a little pocket here that you can use to clip the zippers together so no one can get into it. See, now no one can see the zippers, and if they tried to reach for it, they'd really have to work to get it open, and you would most likely feel this. With purses, you don't want a purse that will just hang open like this. Something like this is very easy for thieves to just stick their hands in when you're walking around. So make sure you bring purses that can zip, and if you're going to be walking around with your purse on, don't put it behind you. Keep it in front, that way you can always put a hand on it when you're walking through crowds or in public transportation. If it's back here behind you, it's harder for you to know what's going on and who might be sticking their hands in it. Another suggestion with purses or other bags is make them as hard to get into as possible. Take for example this one. First of all, internally you have a zipper pocket that you can put real valuables into and zip it closed. That way thieves are having a harder time reaching in and grabbing stuff. Also, on the outside, it snaps closed, and on the outside you have a lock, so that way it's harder for thieves to just go up and lift your panel up. Also, if for some reason you don't have a lock on the outside, maybe turn your bag on the inside so the flap is facing you when you're walking around. That way the back is to them and they can't stick their hands and open your flap.